And we say good morning to you. Welcome. We're live at Champion Chevrolet again on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City, on this Thursday. Thursdays are Champions Day, and we are live here again at the number one Chevy dealer in the state. Nobody sells more Chevrolets than the folks right here on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City, than Champion Chevrolet on this Thursday, February the 8th. 2018. Lots going on in sports. A big day yesterday, National Signing Day for college football. We'll let you know how Tennessee did, how the Bucks did on the national scope, who was the big winner, and who were the big losers in college football recruiting from yesterday. Again, National Signing Day from yesterday. We'll let you know all about that. Also, Bill Patrick joins us a bit later on from the King Sports Speedway. They're not that far away from going racing at the King Sports Speedway. We call it, and they call it, the Concrete Jungle. We'll tell you all about that coming up a bit later on the show. Also, Carmichael joins us at the top of the hour. Then Kevin Harmon will come along, give us the update on Tennessee football and kind of zero in on the recruiting for the Big Orange, and also some of the other teams in the SEC East. Obviously, if you've not heard, Georgia not only dominated the Southeastern Conference, they were the number one team in the country as far as recruiting. They really racked up. And so we'll get all that from Kevin. Also, a red-hot men's basketball team playing excellent ball, sweeping the Kentucky Wildcats for the first time since 1998-99 on Monday night. So this is a hot basketball team. The Lady Ball, see what's going on with them, and also football recruiting. So all that coming up here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 684. Again, our countdowns are on. The Food City 500, we're 66 days away from the world's last great Coliseum being very active with the Cup drivers and Jimmy Johnson defending his crown from a year ago. Also, the Xfinity Series on that Saturday, April the 14th. We are 65 days away from that. That would be the Fitzgerald Glider Kids 300 and the Zombie Auto 150. We'll tell you how you can get those tickets as well from your local Food City. We'll be at Food City tomorrow, by the way, in Piney Flats for the big one-day sale. And so we'll be there broadcasting live at Terry Templeton's store. Also, the countdown's on for the Daytona 500, 10 days out from the Great American Race. Can Kurt Busch defending his crown from a year ago. So it's all good. It's all happening again from Daytona International Speedway. It's going to be a big, big week of racing. They're on the track starting on Saturday, the Clash, and then next Thursday, a week from tonight, the Can-Am Duels to set the rest of the field for the Daytona 500. So it's here. It's time to get racing, and they're going to do that starting Saturday at Daytona International Speedway. Speaking of those tickets, here is how you can get your tickets again from Food City. Get them Food City. Let's do it that way. Buy your tickets food for less at Food City. Again, you can see you're right here. Right there. The Food City 500 tickets are $50 for adults. Kids 12 and under for a $10 ticket. And don't forget, as you see down the right-hand corner, this is the really cool part for me. Earn 500 bonus value points every time you buy your tickets from Food City. Again, see the front office for details at any and all Food Cities. And again, the tickets for the Sunday race, $50 for adults. The tickets for the Saturday racing are $30. Again, kids get in free. Again, on the Xfinity Series Day and the K&N Series Day on Saturday, April the 14th, they get in free, kids do, and so those tickets obviously are a big zero beside it. The Xfinity Series tickets, $30 for adults. Those two are available again at your local Food City. And then on Sunday for the Food City 500, as we said, Jimmy Johnson back in to defend his crown, and so those tickets are $50, and kids 12 and under get in for $10. So if you buy a $10 ticket for the Food City 500 for a kid, you get 500 value points. You get 3 gas visits basically for a $10 ticket at Food City. But you can't beat it. It's a no-brainer. There's not a bad seat in the house, of course, at Bristol anyway. And so these are very, very good seats that are provided by the Food City folks. So, again, a $10 ticket to send a kid 12 and under to go watch the racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. And you get 3 gas visits out of that ticket with 500 value points. No-brainer for me. And so they also are selling tickets to the Food City 300 in August on the 17th, and of course the Bass Pro Shop NRA Night Race for Saturday, August the 18th. Go to your local Food City front office for details, and again, 500 bonus value points every time you buy a ticket for the spring or fall races at your local Food City. And that, again, as they say, will go pretty good all day long. That's a no-doubter. As the late Skip Kerr used to say when the Braves hit a home run, that is a no-doubter. So good stuff. It's the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We always start our show by dedicating to the man who hung on the cross. Our verse for the day is from the book of Psalms. Psalms 46, 1, 2, and 3 says, I am your refuge and your strength. Even though the earth gives way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, do not fear. I'm an ever-present help in trouble. And that's the verse of the day to get us started out of the book of Psalms, Psalms 46, verses 1, 2, and 3. We'll take a break. We'll come right back, and we'll let you know how things went in college football. Who were the big winners and who were the big losers? We'll tell you all about that coming up next. We're live again at Champion Chevrolet on show number 684 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City is starting off 2018 with monster savings on over 350 new Chevrolets to choose from. Take advantage of these awesome savings for a limited time only. Silverado Crew and Double Cabs, $10,000 off MSRP. 17 Spark, $11,995. 18 Equinox, $19,995. 17 Traverse, $28,995. 17 Corvette, 20% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
The savings continue the month of February at Max Medicine in Kingsport. All natural factors 20% off. Folic acid, CoQ10, apple cider vinegar capsules, B12. They're all on sale. Anything natural factors, all 20% off the month of February at Max Medicine Mart. No coupons, no limits. It's a flat 20% off anytime you buy natural factors in February at Max Medicine Mart. Max Medicine Mart, Center Street, Kingsport. Natural factors 20% off in February. Make tracks to Max Medicine Mart.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us live at Champion Chevrolet. Again, they are the #1 Chevy dealer in the state. Nobody sells more Chevys month in and month out than the folks right here at Champion Chevrolet. So we appreciate them very much. Tomorrow will be at Food City in Piney Flats. Again, on a Food City Friday, right up the road here, as a matter of fact, in Piney Flats. The big one-day sale. Tell you more about that coming up in a little while. College football, Randy Sanders looked like one happy man. National Signing Day came to a close yesterday. The new football coach at East Tennessee State, 24 players in his recruiting class. 9 players in that signing class are from Tennessee, including 5 from here in Northeast Tennessee. Local kids signing for the Bucs were offensive lineman Nick Wright out of Greenville, Dawson Pearson of Dobbins Bennett, Cayman Cody of Jeff County, Also, Julian Lane of West Green and long snapper Chandler Mullins out of Elizabethton. Those are the guys that signed that are local, going to play football for East Tennessee State. One of the gems of the class very much could be the wide receiver Will Huzzie, Huzzie, out of Duluth, Georgia. 6'3" wide receiver, 148 catches, 1,958 yards, and 14 touchdowns to this kid out of Duluth, Georgia. And so Randy Sanders and the Buccaneer coaching staff very high on this young man, as well they should be. Going to run them down for you real quick. Nate Atkins, 6'3", 220, tight end out of Bearden High School in Knoxville. Cam Lewis, quarterback, 6'3", 200 out of McDonough, Georgia. Also, you have Kendall Wright. Kendall, again, a 6'4", 285 defensive lineman from Mississippi. Donovan Manuel, linebacker, 6'1", 195 out of Georgia. We told you about Huzzie and Lane. Javian Hurd, 6'2", 245 defensive end out of Monroe, Georgia for the Bucks. Dylan Henderson, 5'11", 185 out of Alabama. He was just an all, they call him an athlete, no particular position. Quinn Smith, defensive back out of Cincinnati, 5'10", 175. Desi Lester Jr., wide receiver out of Georgia. Jalen Williams, running back out of Swainsboro, Georgia. Drew Bowens, 6'4", 210 out of Palm Coast, Florida. Kaysen Setzicorn, 6'6", 285 out of Gainesville, Georgia, coming through Fort Union Military Academy. Nick Rideout, we told you, from Greenville, 6'4", 300. Also, you have Logan Bowers out of Knox West High School, place kicker, 5'10", 185. M.J. Woods from Seal, Alabama, defensive back, 6'1", 195. Also signing for East Tennessee State, Jacob Sailors, defensive back, 5'11", 190 out of Jasper, Tennessee, Marion County High School. Chris Armstrong, defensive back from Foley, Alabama. A couple of more, Jalen Porter, 6'2", 220 from Gallatin, Tennessee, a linebacker. Jared Folks, a 6'1", 235 linebacker from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And the Buccaneers wrap it up with Logan Marchi, M-A-R-C-H-I, quarterback out of Bristol, Connecticut, 6 foot 205. So those are the guys that said we're going to play football for the next 4 years for the Buccaneers of East Tennessee State University. Down the road, the Vols, the finish to Jeremy Pruitt's first signing class wasn't as invigorating as the start. Gained 6 new signatures yesterday to go over the 14 they landed earlier in December. Left them with a class ranked 20th in the country. The Vols are trying to finish with the top 20 class. They haven't been ranked outside the top 20 since 2013, Butch Jones's first signing class. And so I guess the big star for the Volunteers, we'll let Kevin talk more about this if he gets in here in a little while, but the big star would be J.J. Peterson out of Colquitt County, Georgia, a 4-star prospect linebacker that took Tennessee over Alabama. So big, that's a big one, feather in the cap, obviously, for Jeremy Pruitt and the Volunteers of Tennessee. Who were the winners yesterday? No question, Georgia. They're the number 1 in the country. We've got the list right here, and it goes like this. Your top 10 as far as recruiting: Georgia, number 1, Ohio State, number 2, Texas, number 3, Southern Cal, 4th, Penn State, 5th, Clemson, 6th, Alabama, 7th, which is a disappointment for Alabama fans. Typically, they're number 1 in the country. Miami, 8th, Oklahoma, 9th, and Notre Dame rounds out the top 10 in the recruiting for this year coming up. Hello, Bill Patrick. Thank you, my friend. He's going to be here in just a few minutes talking about the Kingsport Speedway track. We appreciate that. And so Georgia, man, they just keep on keeping on. They beat Alabama for 5-star quarterback Tyson Campbell. They flipped 5-star outside linebacker Quay Walker from Alabama. They flipped the top 100 linebacker Otis Reese from Michigan and landed 6'5" wide receiver Tommy Bush out of Texas. And so, again, Georgia clearly wins the recruiting war from yesterday. Again, another big, as we've told you, Clay Helton got a contract extension. We told you that yesterday on the show. The football coach of Southern Cal. He's gone out and done very, very well. So he's taken several kids in several different schools to get them to wind up to play at Southern Cal. Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher's class, sitting at number 35 at the beginning of the week. And now it's inside the top 20. He really jumped and got some big ones. Stole an in-state defensive tackle from Alabama named Bobby Brown. Held off a late push by Florida State to land the best quarterback after the early period in James Foster. Beat Oklahoma for offensive tackle Tank Jenkins. You got to know that guy's big. An offensive tackle named Tank Jenkins, and got one of the best rushers in California in Jeremiah Martin. So Jimbo Fisher, big recruiting period for Texas A&M in a short period of time. Also, the Florida State Seminoles had a big recruiting class as well. So Willie Taggart closed the 4-star athlete Treshawn Harrison out of Washington. Stole a big-time talent from Tennessee and wide receiver Jordan Young. Also stole a second Tennessee commit and running back Anthony Grant. And so a solid close for Coach that faced a steep uphill battle this cycle with his arrival in Tallahassee, but apparently did very good. Losers in the National Signing Day from yesterday. This particular source says LSU. Hello, Renee McNeil. Hello, Bradley Purdy. Hope everything's going good with you kids today. Again, like us and share us, and you do. Hello to Andy Thaxton in West Virginia. Hello, young lady. LSU. Okay, not great, but they lost a couple of big guys. One to Alabama, lost another one to Texas, lost another one to Texas A&M. So LSU losing yesterday. Michigan did not do well, not as they thought they would. So the number one offensive tackle, Nicholas Petit-Frere, ends up going to Ohio State. They had also conceded top 100 defensive lineman Tyler Friday, lost him as well. With a finish number 21 of the country, class just doesn't bring the flash we've been used to and seeing out of Harbaugh and company. I'm telling you, Harbaugh's in trouble. You wait and see. If he starts out slow this year and doesn't beat one of the teams that he's not beating anyway, a.k.a. Michigan State or Ohio State or even Penn State, if he's beat some of the big schools within the Big Ten Conference, the heat's on. I think the heat's on anyway, but I think the heat's on him even more for Harbaugh. I mean, you can only jump off of roofs and land in whatever he does, pools, and did all these different kind of bells and whistles to get these kids to sign on to play in Michigan. But then on the field, they're not producing as the fan base, the alumni, and folks would expect. So I think, for me, I think Harbaugh's in trouble. At least the heat's turned up. How about that? So one other team they said were kind of as a loser in the National Signing Day was Alabama. Finished with the top 10 class and shocked the nation by landing the number one quarterback in the class. So how could it be a loser? Well, it's about expectations. You know, Wednesday they took some hits. It lost to Georgia for Tyson Campbell and Quay Walker. Lost to Florida for Jacob Copeland and Malik Langham. It lost to Texas A&M for Bobby Brown. Lost to Clemson for in-state star Justin Ross. Alabama lost to Ohio State for the big man Petit-Frere. Lost to Oregon with Panay Sewell. Even with a few wins out of 4-star cornerback Eddie Smith and slot receiver Jalen Waddle, it was still not the kind of finish that Nick Saban wanted. So, of course, it all looks good on paper. What amounts to, obviously, is how it transpires coming up in, next 3 or 4 years. That's when it counts. Looks good on paper. Hello, Lisa Lale. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. And so, saw where Tri-Cities Christian's out of school today and tomorrow because of sickness. I was telling you yesterday, I couldn't remember the school, but James Madison University, their basketball team canceled 2 of their games this week because they got the mumps running through their basketball team at James Madison in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So the mumps, gosh, when was the last time you heard anybody being affected in that kind of way? But the mumps are running through the James Madison men's basketball team. And we got sickness here in the Tri-Cities. University High in Johnson City and Tri-Cities Christian are closed today and tomorrow. Try and get everybody healthy because the old flu bug and the crud's going around, obviously, for sure, in our region. Tom Taylor Sports Show, thanks for being with us. We are live again here at Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Chris McCall is going to join us coming up here in a little while. Also, in just a few minutes, we got Bill Patrick joining us from the Kingsport Speedway. See what's going on there. Racing's not that far away. As we told you, the countdown's on. We're 10 days out for all the racing to get started at the Daytona 500. I'll be coming up again on a week from Sunday. The Clash, of course, this coming Sunday. The Can-Am Duels a week from tonight. That's where it sets the rest of the field for the Daytona 500. The Clash will set the front row, the top 2 drivers, the first 2 drivers, for next Sunday's Daytona 500. And then the Can-Am Duels, which again is a week from tonight, those 2 races will set the rest of the field for the 2018 Daytona 500. And again, Kurt Busch, the defending champ of that race. We're 66 days away from the Food City 500. And again, February the 24th will be coming up in 2 weeks. It's Meet the Drivers. It's Kingsport Speedway Day at the Johnson City Mall, which is pretty cool. And so we'll talk more about that with Bill when he gets in here in just a few minutes. Tom Taylor Sports Show. Don't forget our dear friend, our buddy, the Gator Man at Cherokee Barbershop on South Rome Street in Johnson City. When the barber pulls out, the Gator Man's in, and he is there today, of course, snipping hair. As we've told you, keeps the beard trim for me, and once this hair gets cut for PanteneBeautifulLinks.com, we, of course, will let him do it. He's the only one who's going to cut our hair. Our buddy, the Gator Man, South Rome Street, right down from Tipton Ames Working Farm in Executive Park South. When the Gator Man's and the barber pole's in, the Gator Man's in as well. He's open Tuesday through Saturday. Here's a cool thing. Cuts men's hair and little boys' hair. It's a men's barbershop. All kinds of sports memorabilia in there, particularly sports from East Tennessee State and Milligan College. And of course, he puts that booster seat across the armchairs and cuts little guys' hair too. So the cool part is the haircuts are free. Free haircuts at Cherokee Barbershop. Cup of coffee costs you $11. You have to keep the cup, but haircuts are free at Cherokee Barbershop on South Rome Street in Johnson City. Again, open Tuesday through Saturday. We see the barber pole. When the barber pole's out, the Gator Man's in. He is in there today for sure. Again, on this Thursday, February the 8th, 2018. We're going to take a break, come right back, and we'll get our buddy in here. That'll be Chris McCall, see what he allows a little bit later in the show. Coming up next, we'll take a break, and we'll check in with basketball. Oh, yeah. College hoops. How'd it go last night? College basketball, the NBA, and some high school scoring. Young man named Mike McClung lit him up again. 40-plus points last night for Gate City as Gate City hammers the Daniel Boone Trailblazers. We'll tell you all about that. Our basketball segment next here on show number 684 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue. Do you like pulled pork? At Phil's, the pulled pork is cooked low and slow. We cook it all night, but we serve it fast. Our pulled pork is hickory smoked, tender and juicy. We serve the pork either as a sandwich on a bun or platter style with garlic toast. And don't forget to try our pork wings. They taste like a cross between ham and our sweet ribs. It comes as a meal, as an add-on, or part of our meat sampler platters. Pulled pork and pork wings. Just two great reasons to stop by Phil's Dream Pit. Eastern Star exit off I-26, 349-6437. Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Again, we're live at Champion Chevrolet in the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Hello to Lisa Lale. Hello to Bill Patrick, who's on his way. Be here in just a second. So thank you wherever you may be. JoJo Bradley, hello to you, my friend. And James Horn, appreciate you. Used to work with James back in the day. James was one of the good guys. I liked him, and he was a good board op back in the day. And JoJo Bradley, and James Horn, appreciate you guys. Another birthday today. I want to say hello and a happy birthday to my buddy Chip Pratt in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, we do our segment every Saturday night of the American Trucking Network. Again, we're there again on AM 700 WLW, the big one in Cincinnati. So a big hello and thank you again to our buddy Chip Pratt, who's having a birthday today. It is a Thursday. You ready? Come on in here and jump. Put him in right now. We'll do the basketball segment here in just a second. Let him slide in, and there he is, King Sports Speedway's very own, our buddy Bill Patrick. Let's get him in here and hit the magic button and hit the magic camera, and let's get him in here and let him start talking about what's getting ready to happen. We've got a big event coming up on the 24th at Johnson City Mall, and where is he? There he is. There he is. How you doing, my good friend? What's going on?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You're looking good.
Well, appreciate that.
Yeah, you've been having a good time.
Don't look so bad yourself.
Airbrushing works wonders, Chief, I'm telling you. So let's jump in and go. Again, the King Sports Speedway, the Concrete Jungle. Got a big event coming up on the 24th right down the road here at the Johnson City Mall. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be there, and tell us what's going on.
Well, we're going to have about 30 cars already signed up. We'll be in the mall. A bunch of the drivers and pit crews and officials and Karen and Ronnie and Mr. Stilton, they'll all be there and to get the season started. And we'll be starting about 9 o'clock when the doors open over there, and we'll be there all day. Be a good time to come by and get your picture with the drivers, and then a lot of them will even let you sit in their race car and get a picture in the car. So it's a fun day.
Oh, yeah. It was a big hit last year. The second year we were doing it, last year they did it, and it was a huge success again at the Speedway.
Yeah, actually some of the car picked up some sponsors there in the mall. They didn't know we existed either, and this is really going to be a big thing.
Oh, yeah. So 30 cars and their drivers inside the Johnson City Mall. You can go up and touch the cars, get your picture taken with the drivers and the cars. There's pocket calendars being passed out and all that, right?
Have a lot more drivers than we will cars. There's only room for 30 cars, but we'll probably have closer to 40 or 50 drivers there.
Mm-hmm. So
Brad Teague said he would be there, and Nasty Jones is supposed to be there, and Kenny Absher's going to be there. I've been trying to get him on this show for 3 years now, so he'll be there.
Yeah, we got to get him on.
We'll get him on. He won the track championship Pure 4 last year, so we'll get him on there.
Pressing the flesh. Again, we'll be there at the Johnson City Mall on the 24th. Again, it'll be King Sports Speedway Day at the Johnson City Mall. Again, once the racing starts, for folks out there going, never been to the Concrete Jungle, there are different classes when they race. Kind of give us an overview of what happens on race night.
Well, this particular year we're going to do a little bit different. We used to have a lot of twin late model races, like 35 laps, and then they'll come in and do work on their cars, and then at the end of the night they'll run 35 more laps. So that'd be a twins. Well, we're going to do that with every class at a different time this year. There'll be twin pure streets, twin mod streets, a twin mod 4, and a twin pure 4. So looks like car count's going to really be up this year. It's looking great. So we're looking for a big year.
Concrete Jungle, King Sports Speedway off John B. Dennis and Kingsport. What's it going to cost to get in over there?
Well, they haven't determined yet, but it's probably not going to be much different than it was last year. Last year it was $10 per adult, and kids 12 and under is free. So if you've got 3 or 4 kids under 12, you and the wife can spend $20 and have a great time.
Talking about the tier parking, we get up there and you can grill out.
Right. Some of those spots people pay $100 to reserve that spot, but there's still a lot more spaces available where you can pay $10 extra to bring your car in. You pay for the people in the vehicle, and then $10 extra to take the car in. Then you can just, or a truck or whatever, and drop your tailgate and have your tailgate party or whatever right up there between turn 3 and 4. Probably the best view of the track in the place.
Don Bill Patrick, Kingsport Speedway. We're live at Champion Chevrolet on this Thursday. Tomorrow we're going to be at Food City again in Piney Flats on a Food City Friday. Coming up, we got some local kids signing to play football. Yesterday, National Signing Day at Carson Newman, at UVA Wise, and of course at East Tennessee State. And we got some other kids that were not footballers but signed anyway to go. Some softball, or rather some soccer players and some baseball kids from Science Hill. Moving on, we'll tell you about all our local kids and where they signed coming up here in a few minutes. Also, we got our basketball segment from last night. We had 3 upsets in men's top 25 college basketball. We got some big ones going on tonight, big ball games. The NBA from last night, and also Mac McClung hung 45 on Daniel Boone last night. And we'll tell you all about this young man and the Red Hot Gate City Blue Devil team coming up here in just a few minutes in our basketball segment. So you want to say hello to Beth Clendenin. Don't forget the kids club before the race. Yeah. Well, she's done got on. Yeah. And it says, is it March 24th yet? You got to be. That's when we start racing, right?
That's when we actually start racing, and they always have the kids club. And Little Beth does a great job with that. Yeah, I think we had her on the show last year, and we'll try to get her on again.
Oh, she's got to come back on Bill and the show. She was great.
But, they do a lot of activities with the kids, and while the qualifying and all that's going on. But then when 8 o'clock shows up, Beth likes to watch racing because her husband drives, so they're always out there. But it's a fantastic place to put your kids. If you want to sit around, visit with neighbors, and don't have to worry about your kids or whatever, you just bring them in, give them to Beth, and she does crafts and stuff with them. And then last year they made stuff and actually took it to the Kingsport Parade, and we do the 4th of July parade, and she's always doing something with the kids.
Local short track racing, Kingsport Speedway does it right. I'm telling you, on a Friday night, it's a great crowd over there. Of course, they have they honor throughout the year the military, different times of the year, different Friday nights or Saturday nights when they're racing, and so it's they do it right. They press the flesh, you get out and shake hands and kiss babies. That's what this is about on the 24th, is to just let folks see. And you know, it was interesting. I was there last year, and of course, last year was real close, tied into the Daytona 500, the start of NASCAR season. Of course, that'll have already started this year. But a lot of folks came in and said, "Was this some of the NASCAR drivers from Bristol and all that?" I mean, folks had no clue. Right. And you said you ran into people over there last year that had never been to Kingsport Speedway, and they've lived there all their lives.
They'd never been to a race, period.
Wow.
Karen said, "Well, just come with me," and she would give them some free tickets to come to see what we had.
Oh yeah.
We're all about getting them involved. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. You was talking about these kids signing and such. We had a practice Friday a week ago when it was pretty warm, and you had 75-year-old Paul Shull out there practicing, and then you had Carter Davison, who's 13. He's not old enough to drive yet, but he's already got a late model ride coming up. He does that Left Turn Living series on CW, but he'll be racing with us when he turns 14. And then you got Paul Shull, 75-year-old, against the 14-year-old. What other sport do you know of that you can have that wide a range of age and compete with each other?
It's a great point. Great point. Beth said, oh yeah, she just said, don't forget the kids club. So I want to see if she sent any more messages. That's good. I will say this, he don't want me to, I'm going to anyway. We had more response, or probably anything else we did last year, when we had the Kingsport Speedway drivers come on the shows just about every Friday, and we anticipate that happening again this year. This man would line up these drivers that I'd never met before and brought them in. Of course, their fan base, and they all have fan bases. They watched the show, then they liked it. And of course, for us, we would ask you to share it to your fan base, whoever you are out there watching the show. And so you just kind of multiplied. But because of this gentleman and all the different drivers, what did we say last year? How many we'd end up having?
I think I counted 14 or 15 different drivers.
Yeah.
Plus, we had Beth on, and you had
Karen.
Karen was on, and you had Chris's wife. She was with Grip Energy Drink.
Yeah, just went blank.
I'll think of her.
I can
think
see
of her name in a minute. I see her face.
Yeah, I can see her. Can't remember her name.
You had her on. You had Carly Fields on, and they're down in Daytona now. Chase is working for NASCAR in Daytona.
We keep mentioning Karen. Tell folks who Karen is.
Karen Donnell is the general manager and track promoter for Kingsport Speedway. I saw on Facebook a while ago she's actually jumping on a plane, Tri-City Airport, headed to race week in Daytona, so she'll be down there all week. But then we'll be back at the Johnson City Mall and getting us fired up.
February the 24th is where you want to be at the Johnson City Mall all day long. Get in there and meet these drivers, and you can get your picture taken up against those shiny cars. Ones that'll be there, 30 cars and more drivers, because as he said, the mall can accommodate all the cars. So the first 30 had signed up. Didn't take them long to get your 30 either, did it?
About probably between 30 minutes to an hour. We had 30 spots filled, and then people on the list in case somebody drops out, there'll be more.
Yeah.
So, and I've got quite a few drivers that said they would be there that won't be having their car. They're still working on them. I went through a lot of race shops here in the last couple of weeks, and there's cars sitting there were tore all pieces, but they'll be ready come race day. So
obviously, for me, as you see with the shirt, 2 weeks out of the year, I love Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, I love it year-round, but 2 weekends out of the year, we're up there at the world's last great Coliseum. But the rest of the time, if you're looking for short track racing at its finest, in my humble opinion, it's the Kingsport Speedway. And for this gentleman and Karen and all the folks who make it go, and Beth, it's a great family value. We typically, not always, but we typically race on Friday night. But I know early in the year, we'll be racing on Saturdays, right?
Right. In March, every Saturday in March, first 3 Saturdays, we're going to have open practice, which is free to the public. If you want to get your feet wet, come over and watch them practice. They'll be practicing the first 3 Saturdays. And then the Thursday before the 24th, there'll be an open practice. And then Friday, there'll be open practice before Saturday the 24th. And then the next 3 Saturdays we'll be racing at 3 o'clock. And then after that, we're going to go back to Friday nights at 8 o'clock. Qualifying starts about 6. And
do you know a lovely young lady named Jennifer Patrick McQueen?
That would be my oldest daughter.
She says, "Hey, Dad." So, look here, Daddy's girl's watching.
Yeah.
Bradley Purdy out in Cleveland, Texas. I love racing Kingsport Speedway, and at Bristol racing is so much fun. As a kid, and I still got the racing bug. So he's from Kingsport, been to the Speedway, now he's in Texas. So get him back in here when he can get here and watch some good racing.
On an airplane to get you.
No, you can get back in here pretty quick, Bradley. Watch some racing later on in the year. So Jennifer Patrick McQueen, want to say hello to her daddy. I think that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially since Valentine's Day is next week. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I love all my kids.
I'm helping out Jennifer here. I'm kind of poking the bears. So
she actually is a manager at the Allendale Falls apartment complex, but she also works for Food City. So
there you go. We'll be there at Food City in Piney Flats tomorrow. Speaking of Food City, a little plug. Hello to Jeremy Hughes. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you watching. Last but not least, he didn't want me to say this, but I'm going to. Mrs. Patrick got a little bump in the road, and we would ask for you to send up some prayers for her. She's going to have some surgery tomorrow, so his lovely bride. We had dinner, was it last month?
Right.
Yeah, we all went out and broke bread at a local restaurant and had a big time. She's a sweetheart. I don't know, he outpunted his coverage with her. She's a jewel. So if you would, please, if you're the praying sort, and I hope that you are, just send one up for her, and good Lord knows why. And so she did a little bump in the road, and we would appreciate you sending one up. Jeremy Hughes says the KVR crew is ready to go. So
Chris Van Dyke.
There you go, Chris Van
Dyke.
Dyke.
One of his pit. In fact, it's his. I think he's pit crew chief. I'm not sure, but I think he also. It might be Jeremy Drawn that drives the Pierce Street number 7, but some of them guys do double duty.
It's going to drive me nuts. What Cress's wife's name? I can see her because she was here, been here before on the show.
Yeah.
Brain burp. Cress and blank. Is it Lindsay? It's not Lindsay.
No.
Oh, this will drive me nuts. I cannot. Felicia? No, I don't know who it is. I mean, I can't remember her name. Jeremy, if you know her name, you know her names, obviously. What is Cress's wife's name? I'll hear about this, too.
Oh, yeah.
Had a brain burp.
She's probably watching.
Aaron. God bless you, Beth Clendenin. You helped an old man and just had a brain burp. Well, I had a brain burp. Aaron. So, anyway, Jeremy says, Aaron, lots of laughs. Yeah, when you get my age, yeah, just one of them things. Just hit a wall. Anyway, February 24th, you got to be there. Can't wait. This man right here, he's like a marketing machine. He's really helped the Speedway, and I can't thank him enough for this show. We've already had Brad Tigg on the show a couple of weeks back down in Jonesboro, and Brad
he's going to talk to you a little bit on the 24th.
Oh, yeah.
Nasty Jones, I've talked him into coming and talking to you, and I'm trying to talk Roger Clendenin into talking to you.
Well, why can't Roger do it? What's wrong with him? I'm just an old country boy.
He's a little bit bashful when it comes to radio or whatever.
Oh, come on, Roger. I'm going to look at you out there. Roger Clendenin, you got to come talk to me.
You might talk little Beth into sweet talking him.
Is that Beth's better half?
No, that's her father-in-law.
Her father-in-law?
Yeah.
Beth, talk to your daddy-in-law and have him come be on the show, please. She can do it. She's pretty persuasive. Bradley says, I'm a diehard Earnhardt fan, but I pulled for the independents like Dave Marcus and J.D. McDuffie. Beth Clendenin says, come, Poppy. We got to get Roger on. So, anyway, I know you can go back to work. February the 24th, is there a website we can go to find out more about the Speedway?
It's www.newkingsportspeedway.com. You can go on there and you can get the whole schedule. You get the rules package. The schedule's going to tell you what days we're racing and what twins are going to be. We're going to have car tours coming this year, and I think 2 or 3 others. That Super Stock Car Series is supposed to be there this year. Brad's supposed to run about 4 times this year. I'm not sure which ones he's going to pick to run, but it looks like we're going to have a bunch of cars in every class.
Probably have to pay Roger Clendenin for his time, says Jeremy Hughes.
Yeah, he's all about the money, but
that's all right. We can get him at least one time on a freebie.
Yeah, well, much money as he makes off Kingsport Speedway, I think he might be able to give him an
interview. Yeah. Now, before I let you go, when you go watch racing at Kingsport Speedway, you truly watch the stars of tomorrow. You got, 2 or 3 guys? Fincham's going to be racing down at Daytona next week. Who's the young man who just signed? He's going to be on the truck series.
Justin Fontaine.
Justin Fontaine, a race at Kingsport Speedway. So when you come over there and watch these races, you really are watching the youngsters that are like this Carter Davis and young man that's 13. I mean, one of these days you may see him on Sunday afternoon at Bristol Motor Speedway. That's the goal with these guys and ladies. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of our guys will be at Bristol in May in the
short track nationals. Oh yeah. So Roger Clendenin say they want to hear from the one and only. That came from Beth. Yeah, I love this new. I got this pad, by the way, this tablet, I should say. Got this free, as a matter of fact. If you want one of these, you can go buy a Sprint and get one of these puppies. There it is. This thing's free. It's an 8-inch tablet. They give them away. I got mine, and I want to give a selfish plug to Sprint here real quick before you take off, because this is a free LG G-Pad F2 8-inch tablet for all customers. And so because of that, I consider and read all these responses. Roger Clendenin say they want to hear from the one and only. So anyway, this is cool. I love it's like the Kingsport Speedway people, I'm learning, is like one big family, isn't it?
It's a big family.
Yeah, you fuss and maybe fight and get a little fired up on race night.
Everybody wants to have that first place, and they're going to do whatever. We're all family. I mean, it's family oriented, and we have kids night where we actually let the kids go down and line all the cars up, let all the kids and families go down, meet all the drivers, look in the cars, and then we'll actually put the kids in the cars one night and let them ride a lap around the track in the car, and it's family oriented big time.
Well, why do tempers flare? It's real easy, because they're competitors first and foremost. They want to win. There's a lot of money and sweat equity in these cars, and when they get out there, they want to race clean, race fair, and win races. I tell the story all the time of talking to Kyle Busch. It was last year when he swept all 3 races at Bristol, and after I interviewed him on the PA, we just stood there and shot the bull, and I said, man, you're driven. He said, this is what he told me. He said, Joe Gibbs pays me to win races. He pays me to be out front and win races, and that's what I want to do. I'm not satisfied with second or third. He said, I'm here to win races. That's what I want to do. And that's what these folks at Kingsport Speedway, if they're honest, that's what they want to do. They're there to get that W.
Oh yeah.
Nobody knows who finishes third or fourth. You want to win.
They put a lot of their own money in these cars.
There you go.
This equipment.
There you go.
It's not cheap.
No.
But
it's a lot of fun.
It's in your blood, and they have a ball with it.
Oh yeah. One more time, the website is
www.newkingsportspeedway.com.
There you go. My man, Bill Patrick. Appreciate him very much from Kingsport Speedway. Get him back on real soon. But, again, circle your calendar. February the 24th, when you can go by the Johnson City Mall. It's free, obviously. Cars will be there. Over 40 to 50 drivers will be there. It's like one big happy family reunion party. Shaking hands, kissing babies, getting pictures taken, signing autographs. And it's cool. I can't wait to be there to broadcast.
March 24th, they are family, but they won't act like it.
We're going to get with it. We'll drop the green flag.
They don't
get it
call
started.
it concrete jungle for nothing.
No, you got it. A little bumping and grinding at the short track racing at its best. Quick break. Thank you, my friend. And again, we'll continue to say prayers for Mrs. Patrick.
Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy.
I know her as Kathy.
Yeah, well, I know her out of respect as Mrs. Patrick. She's a sweetheart. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll take a look at college basketball. And again, got a whole list of youngsters locally that signed to play football yesterday. National Signing Day. We'll do that next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show live at Champion Chevrolet, show number 684. They laughed at me in the beginning and said, well, it'll never work on Internet and Facebook Sports Show. 684. Thanks to the good Lord, we're going strong. We'll see you right after this talking basketball and signing local kids for football here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City is starting off 2018 with monster savings on over 350 new Chevrolets to choose from. Take advantage of these awesome savings for a limited time only. Silverado Crew and Double Cabs, $10,000 off MSRP. 17 Spark, $11,995. 18 Equinox, $19,995. 17 Traverse, $28,995. 17 Corvette, 20% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
The savings continue the month of February at Max Medicine in Kingsport. All natural factors 20% off. Folic acid, CoQ10, apple cider vinegar capsules, B12. They're all on sale. Anything natural factors, all 20% off the month of February at Max Medicine Mart. No coupons, no limits. It's a flat 20% off anytime you buy natural factors in February at Max Medicine Mart. Max Medicine Mart, Center Street, Kingsport. Natural factors 20% off in February. Make tracks to Max Medicine Mart.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back to the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us again. Thanks to our buddy Bill Patrick, jewel of a guy, I'm telling you, peach of a guy. And he said, just call her Kathy. I said, well, okay. So we'll call her Kathy. But if you would, please, hello, Rick Pinnell. Thanks for watching the show, my friend, one of the drivers at Kingsport Speedway. So if you can, we would please ask you to send up a prayer for Bill's wife. He's getting ready to have some surgery tomorrow. And you can't go wrong when you ask the King of Kings to put his hand on someone that you love that's going through a surgery. In this case, it's going to be Bill's wife. All right, college football signing from yesterday. Let's run them down. Some of the local kids that are going to move on. Dawson Pearson signing to play football at East Tennessee State University. 6'2", 260, named Tennessee Football Coaches Association All-State Team at center. He's going to be at East Tennessee State. Also, Drew Christian signed on to play football UVA Wise, who played at Dobbins Minute, of course. This young man started right guard for the Indians, 33 pancake blocks, with 26 blocks that led to touchdowns. So all Big East on the offensive line was voted a captain by his teammates. So those two guys moving on out of Dobbins Minute. Let's see. 3 more Dobbins Minute signings from yesterday. Philip Burge, hope I'm saying it right, B-U-R-D-G-E. If I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. Signing to play with the Lee University soccer program. Caitlin Adams signing for soccer at Montreat. And Lily Griffith is slated to join the women's basketball program at Milligan. So those are East Tennessee State, or I should say Dobbins Minute signees, going to ETSU, UVA Wise, Lee, Montreat, and Milligan. Some youngsters signing to play football at Carson Newman yesterday. Daniel Boone's duo of Bailey Presnell and Zach Taylor, no relation, and Hampton running back Hunter Davenport have said they're going to play football again at Carson Newman. Presnell, by the way, 6'3", 305, named to the Tennessee Coaches All-State Team. And so he was also the Mountain Lakes Conference Lineman of the Year for the second consecutive year. Taylor, a tight end for Daniel Boone, and Presnell had 1,618 or 1,618 yards rushing, 21 touchdowns in his career. Again, or last season, I should say, for his career, he had 3,762 rushing yards and 59 touchdowns. Presnell again, the running back for the Daniel Boone Trailblazers. So, I'm sorry, Davenport. I'm wrong. I got that all mixed up. I'm sorry. Davenport is running back for the Hampton Bulldogs. And so also Lyric Schmidt, who was a place kicker at Sullivan South. This young lady will go play soccer, excuse me, Western Kentucky. So she is going to hang up the football and get out the soccer ball and play soccer at Western Kentucky. Lyric Schmidt, young lady who was the place kicker at Sullivan South this past season in football, going to move on, as we said, and play soccer at Western Kentucky. Then at Science Hill, you had 6 kids signed to move on to play different sports. Jalen Adams, the quarterback, signing to play at the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina. 2 girl soccer players, Tess Morozic, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, M-R-O-Z-E-K, Morozic, how about Morozic, and Marin Gilmer, signed letters of intent with East Tennessee State and Sanford, respectively. Others who signed included boys soccer player Braden Elbers. He'll go to Carson Newman. Baseball player Carson Lodge signs with Bryan College out of Science Hill. And softball player Mia Edwardson will go to Walter State and play softball there. So that's some of the locals, if you will, that have signed on to play. Lloyd? Well, there you go. Lloyd's in the house helping this young man. Moving a vehicle. That's good stuff. We're here live again at Champion Chevrolet. Busy here today, and that's good. That's what we want to see. One of our great sponsors, the good folks at Sprint. I want to tell you about what they've got going on. We told you about this tablet. Very cool tablet. It's free. A free LG G-Pad F2 8-inch tablet for all customers. Again, here it is. And again, it's a freebie. And you say free? Yep, it's free. Yes, I just paid for the service, and I got mine, and I love it. This thing is slick and cool. I've never had a tablet before, and it's neat. Also at Sprint, again, here in North Johnson City, right in front of Longhorn Steakhouse, Unlimited Freedom Plan, $100 for 5 lines, plus 5 free Moto E4 phones. I guess is good to the end of March. 5 lines and 5 phones for $100. Again, that's, as we said, at Sprint on North Rome Street, right in front of Longhorn Steakhouse. Also at Sprint, right now going on, 50% off any Samsung Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or Note 8 for new activations. Samsung Galaxy S8, the S8 Plus, or the Note 8 for new activations, half off right now. at Sprint in North Johnson City. Also, credit union members, you can get reimbursed for accessories up to $100 per line for being a member of any credit union and a Sprint customer. So if you're a credit union member, you want to check that out also at Sprint in North Johnson City. Also, the iPhone 8s, lots of bells and whistles right now. The iPhone 8s, you lease one, you get one. An iPhone 8, again, that's happening, as we said, at Sprint. And, of course, here's the two biggies, the iPhone 10. Brand spanking new. We had Zep on yesterday that works there, said he can't keep them in stock. iPhone 10 for $30 a month for new activations. How about that? And then also, when you go in and say you watched the show and saw the show, anytime you go into Sprint North Roan Street here in Johnson City, and again, I want to buy some accessories, it's an immediate 25% off all accessories for viewers for the show. That's new Bluetooth chargers, Beats headphones, 25% off. We talked about that yesterday. That's about a $75 off the top of the Beat headphones. You go in and say, yep, we've watched the show and seen the show. It's got to be at the Sprint store here in North Johnson City, right there in front of, on North Roan, right in front of Longhorn Steakhouse. And so new Bluetooth chargers, Beats headphones, wireless chargers in stock. Any of those, you get an immediate 25% off the top, but just telling them you've watched the show and seen the show, and folks have, and we appreciate that very much. Tom Taylor Sports Show. Carmichael joins us coming up at the top of the hour. But first, let's run down college basketball. Not one, not two, but three upsets last night, including the #1 team in the country. Villanova knocked off last night St. John's. Again, Chris Mullen, the former outstanding player in college and in the pros. Chris Mullen, now the coach, they go in and beat Villanova 79-75 at Villanova last night. They're now 22-2. The #1 ranked team in the country goes down. Also, number 3 loses. Ohio State, the 14th ranked Buckeyes, now 21-5, go into Purdue and beat the Boilermakers, who fall to 23-3. Final score 64-63. Again, St. John's, we told you, beat Villanova by 4, 79-75. Ohio State upsets Purdue 64-63. And then Texas A&M last night goes into Auburn and beats 8th ranked Auburn and Bruce Pearl's War Eagles, or Tigers. Final score was 81-80. And so Auburn now 8th in the country at 21-3 on the season. Texas A&M improves to 16-8 on the year. Two other games, 25th ranked Miami, no problem with Wake Forest, beat them by 6, 87-81. 7th ranked Texas Tech also got a W last night. They beat Iowa State by 18, 76-58 in men's top 25 college basketball. Tonight, got some good ones. Of course, the biggie down on Tobacco Road, 9th ranked Duke will be at Chapel Hill, or in Chapel Hill, to battle the Tar Heels. 9th ranked Duke at 19-4 at number 21 North Carolina at 17-7, and the defending national college champions from a year ago. So Duke at North Carolina tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPN. Also, you have 13th ranked Arizona at 19-5 hosting UCLA in Arizona. The Bruins are 16-7. Other top 25 games tonight: Pitt will be at number 16 Clemson. St. Mary's, 11th ranked Gales, will be at LMU, a 10 o'clock start tonight, and 12th ranked Gonzaga will be taking on Pacific at Pacific. But the big one tonight, no question, 9th ranked Duke and number 21 North Carolina. Big game down on Tobacco Road. NBA last night in our basketball segment, it goes like this. LeBron and the boys in overtime got themselves a W. Watch some of that. 140-138. Cleveland wins it. They're now 31-22. Minnesota falls to 34-23. Also last night, you had Detroit by 9 over Brooklyn. Houston goes into Miami and beats the Heat by 8, 109-101. Indiana, New Orleans postponed last night because of a leaky roof down in New Orleans with all the rain they're having down there. And we're going to get that rains down there is coming our way starting tomorrow, and virtually raining all weekend long here in Northeast Tennessee this weekend. Utah goes to Memphis, beats them by 4, and my boys, the San Antonio Spurs, went into Phoenix and beat them like a drum, like a junkyard dog. Beat them by 48, 129-81. The final there. Tonight, good one, Boston, the Celtics at 39-16 at Washington, 31-23. Other games tonight in the NBA, it'll be the Hawks in Orlando, New York at Toronto, Charlotte and Portland. The defending world champion Golden State Warriors at 41-13, hosting the Dallas Mavericks, a 17-win team. On paper should be all Golden State, but they don't play them on paper. That's tonight at 10:30 in Golden State. And then the Lakers will be at home tonight against Oklahoma City. That's your NBA schedule for tonight. Last night it was Mac McClung lit him up for 45 points as it was all Gate City blowing out Daniel Boone last night in boys high school basketball. The girls, the 7th-ranked Lady Blazers, get a 23-point win over Gate City at Gate City, 59-36. But again, Blue Devils now 21-1 of the regular season, and they blistered Boone 91-46. They're off now. Gate City we're talking about with a Region D 2A berth already in their back pocket. They'll be off for the next 7 days before starting play in next week's Mountain 7 District Tournament. And so Mac McClung, 45 points last night against Daniel Boone. Quick break. We'll be right back. He's here, ready to go. We're going to put him to work. College football. Who did you think did well? What did Tennessee do, in his humble opinion, in the National Signing Day? We've got some pro football news. Why did Josh McDaniels not go to the Colts? Got some baseball news. Got all this coming up with my man Carmichael. Joins us next year. Can't wait to have him on. Then at the bottom of the hour, Kevin Harmon in with an official update on Tennessee sports. Rick Barnes' men's team playing very well. How did he think the Tennessee recruiting scenario went with Jeremy Pruitt? All that coming up with Kevin Harmon at the bottom of the hour. But Carmichael is next here. So we'll take a break and be right back at Champion Chevrolet on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here. With the ratio, goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop. So it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import and Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We're live at Champion Chevrolet. Chris McCall is going to join us coming up here in a little while. Andy's out on assignment today. There he is. There's my man Carmichael in the house. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Just Chicago, February day. It feels like out there. That wind.
Got a little cut to it.
Yes.
You got it. A little bite to it, as they say. But goodness, where do we start? Let's start with college football. I've got the list here. There's been several recruiting services have said, without question, Georgia is your winner. Here's the top 10. Let's see if you agree with these. Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Southern Cal, Penn State, your top 5, Clemson, Alabama, Miami, Oklahoma, and Notre Dame. You like that?
The same usual suspects in the recruiting war.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have done. Georgia has done such an outstanding job recruiting, based that off that season that they had this past, going to the national championship game, losing in overtime. Ohio State was one of the top teams, had been number 1 in some polls in recruiting till the very end. Georgia was able to sneak out ahead of them. Southern Cal closed fast. Clemson started out well, kind of slid a little bit toward the end. Alabama did that. But if you're in the top 10, top 20 in recruiting, it's not the 4 stars and 5 stars you get in, it's how you coach them when you get them there. You can get all the talent in the world.
Exactly.
But if you can't coach them to be that 4 or 5 star player, then it doesn't do you any good. Sometimes you can get those 3 stars and if you've got the right coaching and coach them up. And that's what Tennessee is hoping that they're able to do. They didn't do as well in this recruiting cycle because they got a late start in the recruiting with Coach Pruitt.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about 2019. They're getting a lot of early commitments from a lot of top players, and I think he's got the ability to coach those players up at Tennessee. They're losing a lot talent-wise, but I think he'll be able to coach them up as opposed to Butch Jones, who got players and didn't coach them up.
Yeah. You heard any more about Lyle, Butch Jones?
Lyle, Lyle was supposedly on the Arizona gig before Kevin Sumlin, but I'd say he's probably lying low. Maybe he may even be going to do an ESPN gig this year to where he could work, get his name out there, do some games, and then hopefully in 2019 find a coaching job somewhere.
Thought our buddy Carmichael, again, he's with us from the Johnson City Parks and Rec. We'll talk about some of the Parks and Rec. And, of course, the Big Daddy Dance came and went. Big success last week. We'll talk about that coming up here in a few minutes. So you look at the NFL. We're not going to spend much on the National Football League, but Josh McDaniels said yes, then he said no to go to be the new coach of the Colts. And then he did a complete 360, reversed his decision. So now I'm going to stay with Belichick and the Patriots. We're here in East Tennessee, but why do you think he said no? What was the reasoning, do you think?
And you'll never probably know the real reasoning. I mean,
Exactly.
Belichick did the same thing. I mean, it's eerie how their coaching careers have paralleled. They both have a head job. Belichick, Cleveland, McDaniels in Denver, they flamed out. They kind of had to rehabilitate their image somewhere. Belichick went to Parcells and was his assistant. McDaniels has been Belichick's assistant. They both take a job because Belichick took the Jets job and literally did the same thing, walked away from it after he had accepted the job and went to the Patriots. And McDaniel, 2 things I think. One, maybe he found out Andrew Luck is really not going to be in the best shape in the world coming in. Maybe he's not going to be ready for another training camp, and maybe it's a career-threatening or ending injury with Andrew Luck. The other possibility, and the one I think maybe is the most likely, is they've promised him the job, the New England job, once Belichick decides to retire.
If you were anybody in America, would you want to go in behind Bill Belichick? Let's say, I'm pulling one out of the hat, Saban's probably a little too old. Let's say some young, up-and-coming coach, I don't know, Jimbo Fisher, and this is all just chit-chat, but is that a good job, a pie job to go in behind Belichick to replace him someday?
You never want to follow the legend. In a lot of things in life, coaching, just different things, you don't want to follow the legend. You want to be the one that follows the one who follows. Because it's tough to follow the legend. Look at Alabama when Bear Bryant left. How tough that job was until Gene Stallings finally got it and turned it around. If you do follow the legend, and I'll use, for example, the Cowboys. Jimmy Johnson followed Tom Landry. You've got to have just the biggest gravitas there and just be able to be such a confident person in yourself. That's why I think, like in Alabama's case, when Nick decides to leave, I think if Dabo takes the job, and that's the guy I would think would get it, he's the kind of got the personality and the thing to go in there and not be afraid. Yep. You can't be afraid. You have to be your own person.
Yep.
And Jimmy was that way, and was that way following Coach Landry. Because I mean, when Coach Landry was fired, I mean, you would have thought they dropped a bomb on Dallas that night that it happened. And but Jimmy winning the Super Bowls turned everybody's opinion around. The same thing with McDaniels. But the thing McDaniels is probably not going to have that Belichick has had has been Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. You got it. We're talking to Carmichael. We're live at Champion Chevrolet. Chris McCall joins us coming up in a few minutes to talk about what's going on here at Champion. On this, you can watch the flags out there's old cold, windy day. But, again, the calendar says February the 8th, which means we're on we hope, the downhill pull for winter, and spring is right around the corner. We know the pitchers and catchers report next Tuesday and Wednesday for most of the Major League Baseball teams. By this time next week, they'll be in camp. And
such a lovely thing. Pitchers and catchers report.
You got it. Love to say that. A lot of free agents still out there. The players are unhappy with the owners. Owners are not really happy with the players. There's a lot of disgruntled folks on both sides of the fence here. Who's right and who's wrong with all these free agents still out there?
Well, as we've been talking about the last few weeks, the owners have finally figured it. It's taken them a long time to finally figure it out. They're not going to give these older players, these players that are over 30, they're not giving them 7 and 8 and 10 year deals anymore. They've seen what's happened when you've done that. They can't do. I mean, I look at it like this. I don't blame a player for getting whatever he can get. If he can go out and get $200 million for 7 years, hey, more power to you. But I also don't blame the owner for saying, well, you're not going to put a gun to my head and make me sign a guy for 7 years or 10 years, and especially when it's not a superstar or Hall of Fame caliber player. You don't have that. And these guys that are out there right now, you don't have that. They're all stars, but they're not Clayton Kershaw's like next year, or they're not Max Scherzer's, or they're not Bryce Harper's, or they're not. That's, to me, that's the players. If you're going to put a lot of years and a lot of dollars, that's who you go after. Now, if you think you can sign him for 2-3 years at $22 million a year, okay, to me that's a reason. JD Martinez is the one. Boston's had the problem. Everybody, I think it's been one thing, he's wanted the long term, the years and the money, but Boston's got Hanley Ramirez, and they can't do anything with him, and that's the biggest roadblock to JD Martinez is Hanley Ramirez. Now, they play different positions, but Ramirez has the years and still money, and Boston's been trying to move him. They were trying to get the Marlins interested in him again, and they can't move him. They can't make a deal for Ramirez, so that's been the biggest holdup with Martinez. And today, I see that the Diamondbacks are back interested in Martinez. I think they would be interested in him in a 2-3 year deal, but I don't think they're going to give him 7 that he wants.
All right, you mentioned JD Martinez. You mentioned Yu Darvish. A couple other guys out there still hanging. Arrieta, Cubs pitcher, still free. Moustakas and Hosmer are still there from the Royals. I guess those are probably the big 5. You mentioned Darvish, so none of these guys, there seems to be no movement. But this time next week you can come back on the show. Spring training will have started, and these guys, unless there's some movement between now and then, will be unsigned.
And if you look at Yu Darvish's last 2 starts, would you give him in the World Series? Would you give him 7 years at $25 million? I mean, really?
He got lit up.
He got lit up, and you don't know that was this just 2 bad games at the end of the year, or he's an over 30 pitcher? Is this the start of a downhill trend? And that's what these analytic people and you're still got people in baseball who scout and go by the old traditional ways, but now so many of these front offices are young guys with analytics, and they can point to the numbers and tell you these players, they're not getting better over 30, they're getting more. The production's declining, and so they're not going to make a move on a player like that.
We're talking to our buddy Carmichael again. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet. Let's see what that's a popping thing up for ESPN. Let's
Probably
see
a trade in the NBA.
Super Bowl parade going on right now in Philadelphia. Did you see where they greased the poles with hydraulic oil?
Well, you saw the
hydraulic fluid.
That eat the horse crap. The guy that was drunk that ate the horse crap. I mean,
I didn't see that one. So boy
he
had
got down on his knees. Horse had used the restroom in the street. He got down on his hands and knees and.
That's good.
Died. It's like, why do we destroy our sports cities or our cities when they win sporting events. That Super Bowl, it was like, you know what? It was a shame that you couldn't play it. You couldn't have done the match like the great Liverpool, the Liverpool-Tottenham match on the Liverpool Reds with Jurgen Klopp, the great match that happened Sunday afternoon that was a 2-2 draw. it's a shame that the Super Bowl just couldn't go to a draw, and you say, okay, fellas, tie game and no overtime, we'll see you later. Because both of those teams, they're both, nobody loved, and Philadelphia, I mean, it's just such a, I mean, I saw the video of they went in the convenience store and destroyed this convenience store, stole everything out of there, took because they won a football game.
A snapshot of our society, folks. And you have to, I'm not kidding you, the first week, when they played the NFC Championship game, they had to grease the light poles in downtown Philadelphia with Crisco so people wouldn't shinny up the light poles and weigh them down and break them off. So this past week for the Super Bowl, they sprayed about 10 or 15 feet up each pole with hydraulic oil so these idiots wouldn't shinny up the poles. And then they had a picture, I don't know where it was in Philadelphia, but there's a gate, and all these look like ants trying to come over this gate and break these gates down. I thought,
and they stole they stole a couple of police horses. Kenny Chesney and Tim McGraw getting the police horses like they did in Buffalo that time. They stole the police horses in Philadelphia. People running down the streets naked. I mean, just
for a football game.
Just your picture of society in the year 2018.
Lord have mercy, help us.
Please don't
Lord,
let me. I'm glad
come back and get us.
Don't live in a city like that.
All right, college basketball last night. Two of the top three go down. Villanova loses at home to St. John's, and then also you had Purdue beat at home by the Ohio State Buckeyes. So you'll probably have a new number one this week. And college basketball seems to be a lot of parity. And then you look at, won't steal Kevin's thunder, but Tennessee had a big win, swept them for the first time since 98-99 in Kentucky. So having said all that right now, who is your top three teams in your opinion?
I still think Villanova's is one of the top three teams.
Right.
I think that's a blip. St. John's played well this past week. They beat Duke and Villanova, both. I mean, they rose to the occasion. I still think it's Villanova. I think Virginia. And I think Kansas. I think that's at the end of the year, that's still the top three.
East Tennessee State gets an honorable mention this week. They're playing excellent basketball. They'll be at VMI on Saturday to tie the school record for most wins. Ironically enough, if they win Saturday, they'll play at UNC Greensboro on Monday. And that's the team that beat them last year. And, of course, they would break the record against what's turning out to be the big rival now. So you're talking about bulletin board material for UNC Greensboro. Let these guys come in and win and set the record on their court Monday night if they win, and they should, at VMI on Saturday.
It is, and you hope that East Tennessee State's not peaking too early. I mean, because to me, they still have to win the tournament to get in. I don't think they can. I don't think their record will allow them to get in the tournament unless they win the Southern Conference Championship. It's like I was reading yesterday. Nebraska's got a chance in the Big Ten to go 14-4. They may not make the tournament because their non-conference schedule was so weak that they may have to struggle unless they win the Big Ten tournament this year.
We're live at Champion Chevrolet, again, the number one Chevy dealer in the state. Love coming over here, and again, we'll let our buddy Chris McCall, hokey. I love that guy. We're going to talk to him. Andy's out on assignment today, so Chris is going to pick up the slack and carry the ball for a touchdown. So we'll talk to our buddy Chris McCall coming up here in a few minutes. What's going on here at Champion Chevrolet for February? We talk about it at Christmas, and I guess I would assume that Valentine's Day is a good day that guys come in and buy their honey a vehicle or vice versa. So that's coming up on Wednesday. So we'll find out what's going on in the month of February here at Champion Chevrolet in just a little while with our buddy Chris McCall. So NASCAR, we got in the Clash coming in. We got it rolling, coming off. Cars going to be on track on Saturday for the Clash of Daytona. Then the Can-Am Duels a week from tonight to set the rest of the field. So it's here, and it's time to go racing.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. If you've missed that since last June, just turn your TV on Saturday night.
He had a birthday this week. He's 71, and, of course, big birthday yesterday, which has nothing to do with sports. Garth Brooks had a birthday. Old Garth is 56. Yeah. So, but yeah, boogity, boogity, boogity. Darrell Waltrip had a birthday, 71 years old. And so the storyline to this point has been, of course, all the young bucks and, Kyle Busch says, and Kurt Busch and some of the other older guys today. Yeah, NASCAR, you're forgetting the older guys have got the wins and are the established stars of the sport. And the young guys, the Blaney's and the William Byrons and these guys say, well, wait a minute, we are now the face of NASCAR going forward. So who's right and who's wrong as far as marketing?
You've got to market your young drivers. You've got to try to reach a demographic that you're not reaching. And that's young drivers, because as your population is getting older and your racing fans are getting older, you've got to bring new racing fans into the fold. Well, you're using those young drivers to relate to your younger audience, especially your younger female audience, which spends a lot of money on advertising, spends money, at the track and everything. You've got to be able to do that. And you've got to get these younger drivers exposed, and being exposed, they've also got to produce. It's just not being, Danica Patrick was the most publicized driver of the last few years, but she didn't win.
Right.
So you've got to win. You've got to prove yourself on the track, and that's what these young drivers. It's people like Chase Elliott. It's time to take the next step. I mean, he made it to the through the championship rounds, but it's time to win a race. It's time to start for some of these other guys to move in and start winning some races.
Your guy, we'll see how he does this year. He has said he is back and ready to go, and he is pedal to the metal and focused. Would be Carmichael's buddy Joey Logano.
The Cheesecake Factory. Mr. Cheesecake Factory. He's really last year after the Richmond incident where they lost, where they had to win, basically vacated, and that cost him his chance in the chase. And they had, from that time, the rest of the year, their season was just horrible. And you got to think, and that's, to me, the bounce back candidate of the year is Joey Logano. You've got to think he's not going to have another year like he did last year.
Penske doesn't want him to, that's for sure. So,
and if he does, it could be a short leash with the captain.
Of course, a three-driver team now with Keselowski and Ryan Blaney, and now Joey Logano at Penske, and so they're all there. The Clash will be coming up. We'll talk a little NASCAR here before we get out of here in a few minutes. Clash will be coming up on Saturday, on the 18th, and then on the 11th, I should say on Sunday, and then they'll be ready to roll out of the gate. Can-Am duels next Thursday night. Set the rest of the field. Front row will be determined with the Clash, and everybody else will be determined next Thursday with the two twin races, and then a week from Sunday we'll get her going. We are 66 days away from the Food City 500. Grandpa, they're calling him. Jimmy Johnson coming back to defend his crown, and tells you the youth of the sport when Jimmy Johnson's being referred to as Grandpa now.
Yeah, but and you got to think about Jimmy Johnson. He's 44, I believe, 43, 44. You've got to think how many. He's won all those championships. He's not your typical NASCAR driver. He doesn't do, he lives for the sport, but he doesn't live for the sport. He's not out here racing on Friday and Saturdays like a Kyle Busch or like a Brad Keselowski. He comes in, trains, goes out, qualifies, does his practice, does his racing on Sunday, gets out of there. You got to think, how much longer is he wanting to do that with young children and his wife? Yeah, I would think that it's you're not got many more days for Jimmy Johnson.
Hello to Dr. Barry Walton watching the show. Hello, my friend. We're going to be there on Monday, broadcasting live on Lincoln's birthday. We'll be at Max Medismart in Kingsport. We're talking sports with our buddy Carmichael. We've covered NASCAR. We've covered the college football signing. We have covered a little baseball. Let's jump in before I let you go. You're always my guy with hockey. Predators lose last night, 3-2 in a shootout in Toronto against the Maple Leafs. They're now 32-12. What's up in Nashville?
Picked up another point that was good on the road at Toronto. Toronto's one of the up-and-coming young teams in the Eastern Conference with Austin Matthews, American-born star, playing for the Maple Leafs. Predators had a couple of bad giveaways. I mean, one of them wasn't a bad giveaway. It was a great defensive play by the Toronto player that scored a shorthanded goal to give Toronto a 2-0 lead. Nashville fought back, got it into the shootout, and lost there. They're on this Canadian trip. They've got Ottawa tonight. Cal Turris from the Predators going back to Ottawa, where he was a star for several years. Then they go into Montreal. I believe it's on Saturday night to play the Canadiens. P.K. Subban, the former Montreal star, going back home again to play against Shea Weber, the former Nashville star. Getting ready to be the trade deadline. Trade deadline today in the NBA. Could have some big deals before 3 o'clock. Trade deadline in hockey. Seen rumors that Rick Nash, scoring forward from the New York Rangers, could end up in Nashville. That's one of the destinations he possibly could end up at the trade deadline if Nashville maybe is willing to part with a couple of young prospects. They re-signed Mike Fisher last week, and he'll start toward the end of the month to give them some depth, like on their fourth line as a centerman experience in the playoffs. But if they got somebody like a Nash, that's a whole nother dynamic player. Big 6'4", 215-pound player, can score, handles the puck well. If they could get him in the trade, to me it would make Nashville the favorites for possibly to get to the Stanley Cup from the West again this year.
Coming up next, we'll talk to Kevin Harmon talking Tennessee football, the men's basketball team red hot. We'll see what's going on with the Lady Vols, all that coming up, and how did he think? He's our Tennessee connection. How did he think Jeremy Pruitt did in recruiting for Tennessee football? Plus, he was at Rupp Arena Monday night to watch the Big Orange and the Kentucky Wildcats. We'll get his bird's eye opinion of basketball at Rupp Arena, so all that's coming up. Dr. Walton will be there again coming up on Hello, Renee McNeil and Elizabeth and watching. Again, our buddy Bradley Purdy, love him to death. He's in Cleveland, Texas, watches every day in the show, and we appreciate that very, very much. And wherever you may be out there, give us a shout-out. Chip Pratt watching in Cincinnati today, thank you. And, of course, Renee's in Elizabethton, and Dr. Walton at Max Medicine Mart in Kingsport, where Natural Factors is 20% off the month of February. CoQ10, and, oh, gosh, you've got CoQ10, you've got the we got the vitamin B12. You've got, oh gosh, where's my cheat sheet when I need it? CoQ10. Let me think. Went blank. I'll find out here in just a second. But everything Natural Factors is 20% off. And also, of course, lots and lots of choices for Valentine's Day at Max Medicine Mart, including the Willow Tree Angel selection. They sell a bunch of those for the Valentine's. Ladies love those Willow Tree Angel figurines. So check them out. Again, at Max Medicine Mart in Kingsport. We'll be there broadcasting live on Monday. So, what do we got left to cover? Anything we want to? Are we leaving out of the loop in sports?
Sports-wise, Super Bowl was kind of your typical Big 12 game. Nobody played any defense. I mean, literally, it was horrible defense. They talked about the offenses looked great, but to me, the defenses, you had guys running wide open, catching pass. I mean, it wasn't just like you throw a pass, the guy breaks it. With a lot of broken tackles as well. But there were a lot of receivers on both teams just getting wide open, just like you'd watch, like I said, in the Big 12 game.
The statistics still bear it out that we told you last Friday when Tom Brady was named the MVP. Brady has never won a Super Bowl the same year he's been named the MVP, and it happened again this year as well. So everybody puts a wrap on the NFL for 2018. College football spring training. Tennessee announces their spring game April the 21st. So it's kind of a law right now. The signing date's behind us. Get them in camp, start them, again, get the guys in there going through winter workouts, and spring practice for all college football teams are coming up right around the corner.
Yes, some go in March, some go in April. A lot depends on what your spring break is at your university, and it's how they go with the spring games, spring practices. And then before you know that, right after spring practice, a few more weeks, you'll start seeing the 2018 college football magazines out on the newsstand. So it'll be here before you know it.
Before you know it. You got to know that. So what's going on in the Parks and Rec, my friend?
Parks and Rec, we got several things. A couple things going on today at Memorial Park at our community center. Our senior service division is offering a concert. Shellum Klein, he's a Christian country music artist who had a hit song last year, Blue Jeans and Biscuits, was 2017's Christian Country Song of the Year. Concert's free. It's going to be going on this afternoon from 3 to 4 o'clock at the Memorial Park Community Center. Tonight at the Keystone Community Center, where I'll be from 5 to 7, we've got our job fair. Seasonal jobs, not only in athletics, which we hire for soccer officials, softball umpires, scorekeepers, tennis instructors. We also hire people to work on the grounds crew to do maintenance work. We hire lifeguards for the swimming pool. We hire playground employees. So a big jobs fair tonight at Keystone Community Center from 5 until 7. On February 13th, next Tuesday night from 5 to 8, Parents Night Out. So if parents want to, ages 3 to 12, parents can drop off the kids and enjoy a night out at the community center. There's going to be games, activities, swimming. Sometimes it's tough for parents to get out, especially during the week, especially close to Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. So just drop the kids off. It's, like I said, everything is free that night from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Memorial Park Community Center. 2 weeks from tonight, February 22nd, at the Carver Recreation Center, they're celebrating Black History Month with a taste of the community. So a lot of people in the community bringing their dinner and bringing wares to the community, bringing down to Carver to sample and do foods. The taste tickets are $5. You can purchase them at the door, or you can pre-purchase them at Carver, and the number there is 461-8830. And on February 16th, which is next Friday night, it's going to be a Sweetheart Swim at Memorial Park Community Center from 7 to 8:45. So there's going to be some great oldies music going on in the pool area, and it's $5 for couples, and anybody young wants to come out and have a good time next Next Friday night at the Memorial Park Community Center, 7 to 8:45 for the Sweetheart Swim. The Daddy Daughter Dance, we had over 800, and I think it was 830 or 40 participants this past Saturday night.
That's awesome.
My daughter and I went at 5 o'clock we tried to do like for autistic children or children with special needs. Had several children at that dance. Sarah and I stayed a few more minutes after that, and it was a huge crowd. A lot of people having a good time. That's the Sweetheart Dance, or the Daddy Daughter Dance, has really taken off over the past few years, and just been a great event to go to each and every year.
It's all, again, at the Johnson City Parks and Rec. My man Carmichael website is
www.mattjcparks.org.
Great job. See you next week.
Yes, sir.
Be right back in here. We'll take a break. We'll be right back, and we'll go from a plethora of sports we'll dial into Tennessee football. We'll see what Kev thinks about some of the other teams in the SEC East. Obviously, Georgia did very well on National Signing Day in the college recruiting wars. So how did the other teams do? The Floridas and the Kentuckys and the Vanderbilts and the South Carolinas. We'll see what he thinks about that. And Tennessee next year on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City is starting off 2018 with monster savings on over 350 new Chevrolets to choose from. Take advantage of these awesome savings for a limited time only. Silverado Crew and Double Cabs, $10,000 off MSRP. 17 Spark, $11,995. 18 Equinox, $19,995. 17 Traverse, $28,995. 17 Corvette, 20% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7, and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
The savings continue the month of February at Max Medicine in Kingsport. All natural factors 20% off. Folic acid, CoQ10, apple cider vinegar capsules, B12. They're all on sale. Anything natural factors, all 20% off the month of February at Max Medicine Mart. No coupons, no limits. It's a flat 20% off anytime you buy natural factors in February at Max Medicine Mart. Max Medicine Mart, Center Street, Kingsport. Natural factors 20% off in February. Make tracks to Max Medicine Mart.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Back to the Tom Taylor Sports Show. There he is, our buddy Kevin Harmon, front and center. We're ready to go again with his Tennessee hat. And first off, good afternoon. I know you're a busy man. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, Tom. It's good to be here. Yeah, I've been kind of busy, but it's just a lot of family stuff and
real estate
things like that. Yeah, we're getting back into real estate. So
get back in the groove.
Yeah, I got a showing tomorrow.
That's what we want.
Yeah. It's been a good winter so far.
Yep. Let's talk about it, Tennessee. Let's get into, first off, Tennessee football. Jeremy Pruitt and the folks down in Knoxville. What do you think? Some folks are saying it's so-so. Some say pretty good, given his time to go out and hit the trail. What do you think?
Well, I don't think he had a lot of time. I mean, it was underwhelming. There was a lot of hype and build-up with Quay Walker and some of these other kids, Copeland, and Tennessee ultimately got spurned by everybody, but J.J. Peterson, who chose Tennessee over Alabama, and he's a top 100 athlete, player, linebacker, and he'll play pretty soon at UT. But other than that, they got a lot of kids that they offered at the last minute that didn't have a lot of good offers. You know, when you talk about offers, that you're beating Georgia and Alabama and LSU for these kids. The kid in LSU, the cornerback they had, or in Louisiana, they felt they would get, went to Texas A&M. Jordan Young was the wide receiver that they offered, and he was at Tennessee was actually the first Power 5 offer. Once he got the Tennessee offer, other schools started looking at him. He ends up going to Florida State on signing day. Tennessee thought they had him. Tennessee thought they had Quay Walker. He ends up going to Georgia on signing day. Puts the Tennessee hat on, and then takes it off and puts on the Georgia hat. So that didn't go over too well.
No, it wouldn't.
Then we all saw the Copeland kid out of Florida with he puts the Florida hat on, and his mom gets up and walks away. You thought maybe that the early signing day might take some of the luster off of Tuesday, but what happened was most of your borderline guys kind of signed early to get a spot, and then it became all about the 5 stars and the more elite athletes that had the opportunity. They could really pick and choose what they wanted. And it made it sort of for a kind of exciting day, especially if you were Georgia, Texas, Ohio State fan. Alabama ended up 7th, I believe. But as far as Tennessee is concerned, with what Georgia's doing and what he's been able to stack recruiting classes on top of each other, he just has to coach them because he's got the players. And Georgia, as a state, is loaded with players, kind of like Florida is and used to be. But Smart's really he's pitching, playing time and still a little bit, and he had 31 seniors this year. They went to the national finals and actually could have won the game, but what he's selling, people are buying, kids are buying, and it's a good school. They don't have the best facilities in the world, so he's really getting the kids fired up about playing for Georgia. Good for them. It's going to make it tough on Tennessee, Florida, and Georgia because Mullen did a good job. He got the Emory Jones, the quarterback going to Ohio State, flipped to Florida. Tennessee wanted him early on when Jones was here. And then you got the Jermaine Copeland kid. You got a couple good running backs. Florida's going to be tough.
So Georgia did well, Florida did well in the recruiting wars, and you look at the other guys in the conference, you would look at a Kentucky and a South Carolina and a Vanderbilt and a Missouri. How did those guys fare?
Well, they were back in the middle. They were back in the pack. I mean, Kentucky and Vanderbilt didn't do well at all. In the SEC East, it was pretty much Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. Kentucky did okay. I hadn't seen the official numbers, I guess, of who ended up where, but we got some good players that we needed, Lante Taylor and some of these kids, and didn't get the quarterback we wanted. And next year's going to be a lot of people are disappointed in Pruitt, but he didn't. With the championship game and a lot of things going on and building his staff, you got to give them until next year. You got start to develop those relationships and bring these kids in, and go from there. It's going to be next year's going to be a tough season, I'm afraid.
Well, talk about on the field.
Yeah.
Well, but you look at Pruitt, half the season, in the recruiting season, if you will, he was wearing an Alabama hat coaching for the national championship during the day, and then at nighttime going out and beating the bushes for Tennessee in the evening. So kind of had one arm behind his back. So give him a full year with his staff in place and then look out. So on paper, next year, you're thinking it's going to be a little bleak for the Big Orange?
Well, we're going to have some talent. Tennessee, Jones did recruit talent. What's the hard part is he lost a lot. He mismanaged his roster. A lot of people transferred. Dormady transferred. A lot of people transferred, or they're just not in school anymore. I think he only has 11 players left from the 2015 draft. And, if Juwan Jennings comes back, that'll make it 12. But, that's quite a bit of attrition when you lose 17, 18 players coming off of a 2015 draft. And those guys should be your seniors and juniors this year. And we're light, and that's tough. We do have talent. But the big knock on Jones was he didn't develop it. So now it's up to Pruitt and those guys to get these kids in here and get them developed. And try to be competitive next year. We open up with West Virginia, so that'll tell the tale pretty quick. The home schedules. We got Florida at home, we got Alabama at home. We go to Athens. It's going to be a tough year, and so I think we also go to Auburn. They may come to us. I can't remember. So it's not going to be. We have a tough schedule again. So with the transition, first-year head coaches, I don't care who they are, don't do that well. think Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe his first year. So, second year he won the national championship. But, by year 2, we should be able to see the recruiting results. We should be able to see some improvement on the field. And by that time, we'll know if we got the right coach or not.
Typically what happens when do these guys stay or they don't stay? And when I'm saying, in this case of Butch Jones, new guy comes in, old guy's gone. Do these guys typically hang out? Do they typically do a wait and see? Or they just go ahead and bolt before the new guy gets on board? I'm just using it on the average. Typically, what does a college football player do when there's a change in the coaching? They hang or they go?
Well, I think at first they hang, and they want to see what kind of scheme they're going to run, how that fits the skill set. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't fit the skill set, then you're going to go. You're going to go somewhere where your skill set will match what the coach is doing. Tyler Bird, who was a wide receiver under Jones, and everyone felt he was he was an All-American high school cornerback. And everyone felt that he should have been on defense with the way we were struggling for quarterbacks. Well, it looks like he's going to be a cornerback under Pruitt. I don't think if Jones would have stayed, I believe Tyler Bird would have left. But with Pruitt's defense and the way he views Tyler Bird, I believe he'll go to defense and he'll prosper. He's got the speed, he's got the size, and we just never utilized him on offense either. So it was kind of perplexing. Is why we took this talent and we had him on offense, and then he gets the ball 3 times a year. It just makes no sense. And one big catch I remember is he made the big catch over the middle against Texas A&M in 2015 as a true freshman. In 2016, excuse me, that's when that game was. 2017 didn't do a whole lot. We used to get into football. So, I look forward to having what I consider a football coach back in the helm. We got season tickets are getting ready to come up. I still haven't made my mind up yet, but I'd like to. It's Davis' senior year, so I'd like to be able to make a lot of games and us be competitive. And I hope that they can go to a nice bowl.
We're talking to Kevin Harmon, talking Tennessee sports. He's on the screen, UT Sports Update. Let's switch gears. You got a chance to be in the crowd at the arena, known as Rupp, on Monday night.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was really cool. It was Davis's and Megan's 21st birthday the prior Saturday. And
Davis and Megan, by the way, if you're watching the show for the first time, those are his twin children.
Yeah, they're 21 now. And I'm doing something with Megan tomorrow night. But with Davis, he wanted to go to the Kentucky game. And so we made that sort of like his 21st birthday. And, we drove up. We got there about 3 o'clock. And that's a beautiful, the horse country and all that. That's a nice area. And we went downtown, which is where Rupp is. Rupp's not on Kentucky campus. And I didn't know that until we got there. And we got a good place to park. They have really good parking there. And we paid to park. And then we went downtown, walked around, found a place to eat at Sawyer's. We ate there. Then we went over. There's a mall, because Rupp Arena is adjacent to a mall, actually part of a mall. And it was in bad shape. There were no stores in there. And there were 2 eateries. One was an Arby's and the other one was a McDonald's or something. It wasn't that great. And they were giving away all these Kentucky shirts, and people say stuff to you. And there wasn't a lot of orange there. That arena is sold out season ticket wise pretty much, and so there wasn't a lot of orange. And we really felt, it was like, wow. So we ended up walking around downtown, but everybody was very nice. The owner, Sawyer's, actually came out and talked to us as we were getting ready to order. And you go into the stadium, we were kind of surprised at the upper deck, and we had good seats. We were right on the mid-court line. The camera, I watched the game, and the camera could have been right on our heads. At mid-court. And the bleachers, there's bleachers in their upper deck, which was kind of disappointing. I'd like to have a chair back seat, but that's how they seat 23,500 people. So they cram them in up top. But it's a loud place. And Kentucky builds on a lot of tradition there, a lot of history. So their video is going back to the 40s. When they have all these banners up there from either NC. They don't have like made the tournament banners. They have Final
National
Four,
Championship,
runner-up, or national champion banners. There's no we made the tournament or we made the NIT. There's none of that up there. And then it's just rung that place just as a ring of honor there of jerseys. Davis made the comment, they're going to run out of numbers. There were that many. Jack Givens, Kyle Macy,
Sam Bowie,
Rick
Jamal
Jamal Mashburn. You had just a litany of names up there. And it was impressive, very impressive. And it's a nice facility. It was a great place to watch a game. And we went. A big reason we win is we had a shot. And we wanted to see history because we knew they hadn't swept Kentucky, and they hadn't won there since 2006 when Lawson got 31, I believe it was. And that's when Kentucky realized they should have recruited him. And so we knew we had a shot to see history. And, you know, there's only been 2 games all year that have never gotten higher than a 4-point spread in the game. And the other one was like an NAIA game than this game, because it was back and forth the whole way. Everybody stood. I mean, it was stomach grinding stuff. And, you know, every call was pivotal and every shot was big. And, you know, because, you know, Tennessee got a 4-point. Tennessee's biggest lead was 4 points. Kentucky's biggest lead was 3 points. So, I mean, that's how close this game was. And it was just, but neither team shot well. I mean, everybody had a hand in everybody's face. And, you know, Kentucky got the basketball. They had a 2-point lead. You know, they come down and they turn it over. We get the shot. We come down. And you can see the guy back off Lamonte Turner, the Quay Green. We still hadn't figured out why he just took a step back. And then Turner takes the jump shot and nails it. And that place, the air came out of it. And it was a phenomenal feeling. You know, so you got 20 seconds left, and Cal doesn't call timeout. You know, he's got all freshmen on the floor. He doesn't call timeout. Well, then they dribbled down, and you could see Tennessee collapsing on this kid when he goes to the lane. It was the Alexander kid who had a good game, and they just surrounded him, put their hands up, and he tried to just throw it across the court. And that's when Bowden made the interception and then hit Schofield wide open for the dunk with 4 seconds left. And it was just, and it was a brilliant call by Barnes to foul him before the shot, because they only had 2 shots, and you got to 1.3 seconds. So, you know, you still didn't feel good, but, you know, when we got that rebound, we knew it was all over. So it was, you know, a big hug, and, you know, the guys who were sitting next to Davis, you know, reached over, shook his hand, told him happy birthday, and everybody was very nice. And there were some Tennessee fans up above us and to the left that started going, "It's great to be at Tennessee Vol." And, you know, it was pretty cool stuff. You know, that's a nice arena once you get inside. And to beat Kentucky at Kentucky, you know, I've been in Alabama when we beat them in football. I've been to Georgia. But that's pretty sweet when you beat that Kentucky team. And everybody says they're not that great, but they're still 17-6. You know, they play teams like Kansas, North Carolina. I mean, they don't back away from anybody. They're Kentucky.
Oh, no.
And
first time we swept them since 98-99, and I read where it's only the 5th time Tennessee's ever won at Rupp Arena.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not an easy place to win.
Wow, I didn't realize that all the years.
I didn't
they
realize it
played
was
there.
built in '76. That's the year I graduated high school. I mean, so it's been around a while. From the outside, it looks like an old barn, but from the inside, it's definitely
Primo.
Yeah, I mean, because they take a picture of the mall, the entrance to the mall, and then you can see the little Rupp Arena logo up in the corner, but that's not, the mall's not Rupp Arena. So they make it look a little bit better than it actually is on the outside.
Sell the sizzle, not the steak, baby.
Yeah, Thompson-Boling looks better on the outside. Of course, we got Tennessee River right there, but yeah, I mean, but it's still Kentucky, you know, and they can still put eight national championships, you know, 79 All-Americans or whatever it is they got. And it's a storied program. They've had more wins than anybody in NCAA history. So it's, you know, it's the Taj Mahal of college basketball. You know, that and the Dean Dome, and I guess Cameron Indoor, and then you got Cole Fieldhouse with Kansas. I mean, those are just storied places. You know, I've been to Cameron, never been to Dean Dome. I've never been in Kansas, but I've seen Duke. I've seen Kentucky. I thought Duke's was a little bit more rowdy, but I'd like to go back to a Carolina Duke game, before it's all said and done, and we'll get there. But you know, those tickets are just impossible to get now.
Yeah, they play tonight, as a matter of fact. Duke,
yeah,
North Carolina, at the Dean Dome
yes,
tonight.
They do.
So, having said all of that, Rick Barnes making a statement to this basketball team.
Oh, no question. You know, they moved. You know, when Kentucky, Calipari's a good coach. When you watch Kentucky play, I mean, there's nobody that stands around. They don't stand. I watched Auburn, Texas A&M last night, and those guys just stand around. You know, and then they come out and they get a pass, and then they stand around. Tennessee doesn't stand around. They move, and they'll pass it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Kentucky does the same thing. But Tennessee's got just enough outside depth and just enough inside depth that you have to respect both. And when they're on their 3, it was a tough night the other night, but we still got, I think we out-rebounded them. We were 14 for 16 from the free throw line. We didn't miss any in the second half. You know, they were 18 for 25, and then there's pretty much a difference in the game. We made one more 3 than they did. So we were with them the whole game. You know, and that's a tough place to win. You get
They call the referees rupparees. So you don't get the calls there. Tennessee got some good calls, and so did Kentucky. So it was a well officiated basketball game. It was just a great. We drove back and it rained really hard. They were expecting snow that night, so they had already salted everything there in Lexington. So it was a great trip. Nothing I'll ever forget. It was a great adventure.
Let's talk again before we get out of here. The schedule remaining for Tennessee: they play at Alabama on Saturday, then come back home for South Carolina Tuesday. Then they go to Georgia, Florida at home on the 21st, back-to-back road games at Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and wrap things up March 3rd against Georgia. So we got 7 games left in the Southeastern Conference. And
Mississippi State's not going to be easy. Alabama's not going to be easy. Georgia's not going to be easy because they can beat Tennessee in Athens. But we have a lot of depth this year. So if we're emotionally peaked or something coming off a big win, this is a big win. Then you go to Alabama. You have to play in Tuscaloosa against a good Alabama team that beat Florida by 18 in Gainesville. And then if you watched Avery Johnson's post-game speech, you realize this guy's got his thumb on the pulse.
Oh yeah,
he talks. It was impressive. So going to Alabama is not going to be an easy thing. Going to Mississippi State is not going to be an easy thing. Winning the SEC tournament is not going to be easy. Tennessee, if they were to win out, they'd be number 1 seed, I think. But I don't expect them to win out. Ken Palm says they're going to lose 3 more games. They're expecting them to go, I think, 22-8. We may not lose 3 games. We were a 2-point underdog to Kentucky. I believe we're an underdog this weekend. We may be at Mississippi State. They're playing good basketball right now. And how about Texas A&M beating
Auburn
last night after they lost Bryce Brown? Yeah, it's a gutsy call made by the official there at the very end, that blocking call. It's a good game. A&M was up 17 points, and they let Auburn back in it. And then Auburn sort of imploded down the stretch. It's a great game. It's a great basketball game. And that helps Tennessee quite a bit. We could be the regular season champions, but, they've got the tiebreaker on us, so we need to, we need them to lose some more games. I don't think they have that easy of a schedule either, but, I don't know what the deal is with Bryce Brown. If he can't come back, that totally changes the dynamic of their team. It's kind of like when Grant Williams went down against Ole Miss, and everybody's like, or Schofield when he went down. Tennessee's, and an underrated player, Kyle Alexander. We've got some parts that are really cool, and and if he can add like Anthony Simmons or some of these recruits that want to come in, Barnes plays the best players, and I tell you, when you watch them in live, when some guy throws it out of bounds and messes up, off he comes, and he coaches him on the sidelines. He puts another player in, and he talks to him about it. And it's a very vocal group. You can hear them communicate and talk with each other. It's just a fun team to watch.
Appreciate you coming by, big guy.
Great to be here, man.
See you next week or whenever we can get you back
in. The softball team's in a tournament starting today. And if you go to the UT website and click on softball, you can actually stream it live when they play Arizona State and when they play Utah, because both Arizona State and Utah are ranked. They're not ranked as high as Tennessee, who's picked second in the conference behind Florida, which is a pretty nice deal. And you've got a lot of accolades being given to Megan Gregg and a lot of these players. Should be a fun year in softball. We're 12th ranked going into the season. I think there's probably 10 SEC teams ranked. So it's going to be a competitive year. The season tickets there are only $50, and it's a great stadium to watch a game, and they are it's a very fun game to watch. I think it's to me baseball's boring, but softball is bang bang bang. It's fast and it moves, and it's a good sport, and Tennessee's got a good program. And I think the Wickleys will bring us the national championship here sooner rather than later.
Kevin Harmon with us again, talking UT Sports. We'll take a break.
Over-talking UT Sports.
We'll take a break. We've got my man waiting in the wings before we get out of here. Chris McCall, Hokey High from Champion Chevrolet next year on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City is starting off 2018 with monster savings on over 350 new Chevrolets to choose from. Take advantage of these awesome savings for a limited time only. Silverado Crew and Double Cabs, $10,000 off MSRP. 17 Spark, $11,995. 18 Equinox, $19,995. 17 Traverse, $28,995. 17 Corvette, 20% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
The savings continue the month of February at Max Medicine in Kingsport. All natural factors 20% off. Folic acid, CoQ10, apple cider vinegar capsules, B12. They're all on sale. Anything natural factors, all 20% off the month of February at Max Medicine Mart. No coupons, no limits. It's a flat 20% off anytime you buy natural factors in February at Max Medicine Mart. Max Medicine Mart, Center Street, Kingsport. Natural factors 20% off in February. Make tracks to Max Medicine Mart.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Back live with the Tom Taylor Sports Show again for a few more minutes before we skedaddle. Tomorrow we're going to be at Food City in Piney Flats, a big one-day sale coming up, and hokey highs here. My man Chris McCall, the finance manager, and woo! We've been talking about Tennessee football all day in East Tennessee State. What are you hearing about the Hokies for National Signing Day?
Hokies had some come in yesterday late, get some stuff. They signed 20-some scholarship players in December, However all that works now, I don't know how they do all that. But they'd committed and undoubtedly signed something. But they added on, did pretty good yesterday.
Great Justin Fuentes. He's, 2 seasons in now? He took over. This will be his 3rd season at Tech. And if you had to grade him out A, B, C, and D, how do you think he's done the first 2 years?
A+. Didn't we say A- last time?
Yes.
He's went up to a plus. We're going to give him a little bit of a break. So he had a pretty good day yesterday. We'll give him a plus today.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
You like him, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I want him to stick around a while.
Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere.
Good.
That's a pretty good job there. Pretty good gig in Blacksburg.
Pretty good gig. Nice place to be. Good people. Mm-hmm. Good area. What else do you need? And good football. What else do you need?
Good football, and you're probably going to get your 6-7 wins every year, 8 wins.
Amen.
So.
Amen.
And should be playing for the ACC championship about every year. They're in a tough division, obviously, but people kept saying when UT's opened that Fuente, I thought he's not coming to Tennessee.
He's not coming.
He's set pretty good up there. They take care of him.
I think they'll take good care of him, and if they come back around, we're going to have to drop the big elbow on them. Could be a figure 4 leg lock in the future for those.
Put the hammer on.
Amen.
The Flying Apex, whatever
that's right. Flying Apex.
Chris McCall with us. What's going on in the month of February here at Champion Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy dealer in the state?
We have massive inventory. Massive inventory. We've got a 17 Chevy Silverado, 1500 crew and double cabs, $12,000 off MSRP. 2017 Corvette, 20% off.
Now stop right there. 20% off. 20% off the sticker on the Corvette. Some serious savings, isn't it?
You come in, you look at the sticker, you take 20% off.
Wow.
And that's what you get to buy it for.
That could be anywhere from 10, 15 grand at least.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean more than
every bit of it.
Every bit of it.
Yeah. So
big savings.
Yep.
Time to buy.
Yep. Spring right around the corner. You look good tooling down the highway in a bow tie Chevrolet Corvette.
Wind in the hair.
Got the wind in your hair. Got the lady in the front seat jamming, going down the road, listening to some music, and in a Corvette. That's
I may
good.
have to buy one of those. You talked me into it. That'll work out good. 18 Equinox, $4,000 off MSRP. 17 Traverse, $6,000 off MSRP. 17 Spark, $10,995. Drive it away. $10,995 plus tax tag. Title. Take advantage of these great savings this month.
Sell us on a Spark. Folks out there go, okay, what is a, yep. What do you call this segment, Pig?
Why do we, I don't know why we keep him around.
Yes.
He
walked in first, he didn't say hello today, he said, y'all doing your segment for dummies today?
What did you say, the Flying Apex?
He needs a Flying Apex.
The Flying Apex.
I don't even know what that means. Is that even a hold in wrestling?
I don't know. It's going to be one now because I like it. It might be my new hold.
Next time I see you got Pig in a headlock, say it again, Pig. Call me segment for dummies one more time.
Do y'all
there
do
you go.
Live wrestling shows? You know, you need a wrestling segment.
I do need one.
And I'm a wrestling fan. We could have a lot of fun with that.
Who's your favorite all-time wrestler?
Dusty Rhodes.
Really?
Second, and then second, of course, Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
Awesome. Woo!
I'm gonna tell myself. Do you remember a guy when I was a kid watching? I'm a little bit older than you are, but his name was Haystacks Calhoun.
I do. I know who Haystacks Calhoun was.
Took that old rope. He had a belt.
He was
a piece of rope for a belt.
That's right.
Put him to sleep and put that rope around him. And
he was a living legend in Knoxville, wasn't he?
I don't guess.
Haystacks and the Wright brothers.
Wright brothers.
They had some duels, I believe. So.
And then what was the other guy I liked? He came into the ring with carrying a piece of 2x4. Hacksaw
Jim Duggan.
Yeah, I liked him too.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we're going back a ways.
That's pretty good.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Haystacks Calhoun.
That's pretty good.
And Bruno Sammartino, remember him?
Remember Bruno?
Oh, when I was a kid, my grandfather, God rest his soul, we could never convince him, my grandfather, it was fake. I said, Granddad, this is kind of put on. He would get.
What'd you say?
Never mind.
Okay.
I didn't say they would. Well, I got that look. I may get the Flying Apex. I may get the headlock. It's not fake.
Bruno looked like he wore a rug on his back, didn't he?
It's a hairy
I mean, things were a little different back in those days, right? Those guys didn't shave their chest.
No, they didn't.
No.
Bruno Sammartino. I used to watch him when I was a kid. There used to be a guy, of course I watched in West Virginia, maybe a different circuit than down here, but there was a guy that his head was shaved, called himself Mr. Clean, looked like the clean guy.
That's a good
Remember
game.
him, Mr.
I
Clean?
remember Mr. Clean.
It must have been...
The Mongolian Stomper.
Oh,
he had a bald head, didn't he?
Yeah, I forgot about him, the
Mongolian
Stomper.
He was a great guy. What was the guy's name around here that had the... See, I'm going to have to refresh if we're going to talk about stuff, but I've got memories just popping up left and right now.
Yeah, I used to go to watch him on TV and go live to the high school gyms and watch wrestling.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. So, anyway, the Spark, give me the selling point for a Spark, a Chevrolet Spark.
If you need an entry-level car or you just need a small economy car to get you around, you're not going to be able to fit your basketball team in this car by any means, but it's going to get great gas mileage. You're going to, insurance should be pretty good because it's a small car. Its safety rating's good for the size of car it is. And $10,995, you've got a new car, you're driving around in it.
There you go. Also, Traverses 2017, a few of those left, $6,000 off MSRP on a Traverse.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me about a Traverse.
Traverse is our, I guess, second level SUV. We've got our third level SUV. We've got the Trax, then we've got the Equinox, then we've got the Traverse, which is the next step up from the Traverse would be the Tahoe in Suburban. A Traverse is a great family car. It's a good size. You can get that with all the amenities in it. You can get a Tahoe with. You can, entertainment systems, heated seats. You name it, you can get it in a Traverse too. And these Traverses are really sharp looking. They've worked on them some, and you'll enjoy seeing them and enjoy being seen in one.
$6,000 off MSRP on a 2017 Traverse. Hello to Michael Bates watching, my good friend again from Upward Basketball. Hello, Mr. Michael. Appreciate you very much. Now, before I let you go, a Silverado 1500 crew cab and double cabs. When you walk in these doors here at Champion Chevrolet, $12,000 off.
Ching, ching,
as soon as
ching,
you walk
ching.
in,
Bing.
bang.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
You can
absolutely
get a new truck, a great deal. It's the time to buy. Come on out today, make February your buying month, and we'll send you home in a new ride.
Champion Chevrolet, where we leave you asking how do they do that. The finance manager. So again, you told me last week how many different financial institutions you work with.
Oh, we've got 20 some altogether, and we narrow that down to probably 10 or 11 that get the majority of what we do. But if you need a vehicle, you come see us. We'll do everything we can to get you in it, and we ought to be able to somehow.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
You can just about buy everybody, right?
We have to tweak the scenario, but we can make something happen.
There you go. Go get you some lunch. Pig brought you some lunch. What'd you get?
Chicken pot pie today.
Ooh.
It's gonna be
Where'd you get that from?
Cheddar's.
Cheddar's chicken pot pie.
That's free advertising for Cheddar's.
There you go. So if you don't get back there and eat it, the pig man will get it.
I'm going to have to eat that.
Yeah, the Flying Apex segment for dummies.
It's coming. Flying Apex. Flying Apex.
Hokey.
Ah.
There you go.
Awesome.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Appreciate
love this
it.
guy. Oh, yeah. Good people here, folks. Love them to death. I love all of them. They're good people. And say, we can't tell a guy you love him. Well, you can, because I love his professionalism. I love who he is and what he represents. And so we thank everybody again here at Champion Chevrolet. I want to say thanks to everybody watching the show. Again, we get a lot of folks come back and watch it at night. And, of course, like and share is all we ask that you do. And so, again, don't forget at Sprint, again, one of our new sponsors on the show, get the iPhone 10 for $30 a month for a new activation. Also, they are leasing the iPhone 8. You lease one, get one on the iPhone 8 right now, again, for a limited time. And also half off on any Samsung Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or the Note 8. All three of those are 50% off right now for a limited time. And as we told you yesterday, we were live at Chick-fil-A, and of course the day before at Phil's Dream Pit. Look right there. See this pad, this tablet? Free tablet. LG G-Pad F2 8-inch tablet, free for all customers. Right there's us on the show, and so love it to death. It's a great tool for this show, I can tell you that. So check those out. All this again at the Sprint store on North Rome Street here in Johnson City in front of the Longhorn Steakhouse. And also anything you go in and buy that's an accessory, you tell them you heard the show and you get it 25% off, including Beats headphones. Now, these are some screaming good headphones to listen to the shows in. Beats headphones, Bluetooth chargers, also wireless chargers, any accessory in stock is 25% off at Sprint store here in Johnson City in front of the Longhorn Steakhouse in North Road. When you tell them you heard the show, and we would appreciate that very much. Our guest today, I want to say a big thank you to Bill Patrick from the King Sports Speedway. Carmichael stopped by talking just a plethora of sports, and just now Kevin Harmon, of course, with the UT Sports Update. And we want to say thanks again to Chris McCall, the finance manager here at Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. ChampionJC.com. You can sit there. That's how I bought my car from Champion. I did all the finagling and looking at the pictures and all the different things I wanted to do about 2 o'clock in the morning. Called the next day and said, I want this car from Champion, and I was over here. And by the end of the day, the gentleman who's retired, Ron Dunn, saw me the car. And so, as I said, called that morning, and by that afternoon, they had it ready to go, detailed, cleaned up, and drove off the lot. Happy as a pig in slop with my vehicle from Champion Chevrolet here in the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. So if I did it, you can do it as well at ChampionJC.com. Out of time, we sincerely thank you for yours. Back in the saddle tomorrow, right up the road at Food City in Piney Flats on a Food City Friday with the big one-day sale. They got some screaming deals tomorrow, all day long. We'll tell you about that tomorrow, as we'll be at Food City in Piney Flats on a Food City Fridays. For all of our guests and for our dear friend Tim Copenhagen and Andy Dietrich, this is Tom Taylor telling you as always, till we greet you tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Food City